Always do what you are afraid to do. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Is the wall of your fear actually a dense barrier, or a door waiting to be unlatched? Fear is often a deceptive compass. It points not toward danger, but toward the boundaries of your current existence. We frequently mistake the discomfort of growth for a signal to retreat. However, the things that disturb our peace are often the very catalysts required for our evolution. To avoid what scares us is to remain safely anchored in a shrinking harbor, away from the vast ocean of our potential. True courage is not the absence of trembling, it is the decision to move forward while your heart still beats with trepidation. When you step into the unknown, you dismantle the structures of your limitation. You discover that the monsters you fear are often just shadows cast by your own hesitation. By embracing the daunting, you expand the landscape of your soul. Each act of bravery stretches the limits of your capacity. Eventually, the territory once considered too dangerous becomes your new expanded home. The greatest treasures are rarely found on paths of ease, for they are hidden within the very challenges we dread.
The language of the universe was never words. Why ancient civilizations, modern science, dreams, symbols, and nature itself may all be speaking the same hidden language. The first language humanity ever spoke was not words. It was pattern. Before alphabets, before religion, before mathematics, before governments and algorithms and screens, humans watched the sky, and the sky answered in symbols. The spiral of galaxies, the branching of rivers, the veins of leaves, the pulse of the heart, the migration of birds, the geometry of snowflakes, the dance of seasons, the serpent shape of lightning, the flower of hurricanes seen from space. Nature has always spoken, just not in sentences. In symbols. Ancient civilizations understood this far more deeply than modern society pretends to. The Egyptians encoded consciousness into architecture. The Mayans mapped cosmic cycles into stone. The Greeks hid metaphysics inside myths. The Hindus described reality through sacred archetypes and repeating cosmic patterns. The alchemists used symbols because some truths could not survive direct language. Even the Bible is symbolic language disguised as history. The tree, the flood, the serpent, The desert announcing the resurrection. These are not just events. They are psychological and cosmic symbols embedded into human consciousness. And modern humans still do the same thing, except now the symbols wear different clothing. Corporations understand symbolism. Why do you think logos matter so much? A bitten apple, golden arches, a check mark, a blue bird, a black cube, a pyramid, a crown. Entire emotional realities are triggered through symbols instantly. Politics is symbolic warfare. Luxury brands are symbolic hierarchies. Social media is symbolic identity construction. Even money itself is symbolic trust. Human beings do not simply respond to logic. We respond to meaning. And meaning is almost always carried through symbol. That is why dreams speak symbolically. Why art moves people without explanation. Why music can make you cry without words. Why certain places feel sacred. Why ancient myths still affect modern nervous systems. Because the deeper mind does not think linearly. It thinks archetypally, symbolically. Even modern science is rediscovering this. Fractals, patterns repeating across scale. The Fibonacci sequence appearing in galaxies, shells, flowers, storms, DNA. The same geometry echoing from microscopic structures to cosmic architecture. Reality itself appears to think in patterns. Nature does not waste intelligence. It repeats it. A tree in your lungs branch similarly. Neurons resemble cosmic web structures. River systems resemble blood vessels. Lightning resembles roots. Galaxies resemble hurricanes. It is as if existence keeps signing the same signature across different dimensions of scale. The ancients called this correspondence. As above, so below. Modern science calls itself similarity. Different language. Same recognition. Maybe consciousness evolved through symbolism because symbols compress enormous amounts of meaning into simple forms. A flag can move millions. A cross can trigger devotion. A skull can trigger fear. A wedding ring can represent eternity. A heart shape can carry centuries of emotional coding. One image, infinite psychological layers. And perhaps that is why modern society feels spiritually fragmented. Because we are drowning in artificial symbols while losing connection to the original symbolic language of nature itself. We stare at icons all day, but rarely at stars. We memorize brands, but forget constellations. We decode algorithms, but no longer decode ourselves. The ancient
ancient human did not see nature as dead matter. They saw it as intelligent communication, a living mirror. And maybe the deeper question is not whether nature speaks, but whether modern humanity still remembers how to listen with love for those.
Most people choose the wide road. Not because they are lazy or weak, but because the wide road is visible, clearly marked, and full of other people walking it. It offers the comfort of consensus, the reassurance that if everyone is going this way, it must be the right direction. The wide road is the path of least resistance. Follow the crowd, meet the expectations, stay within the lines. Do not ask too many questions about where you are actually headed. Jesus was not speaking only about religion. He was articulating a universal law that every genuine wisdom tradition has recognized in its own language. The path that leads to real life, to consciousness, to awakening, to becoming fully who you are, is narrow. It requires you to separate from the crowd at some point, to question what everyone around you has simply accepted, to face things in yourself that most people spend their entire lives avoiding, to choose depth over comfort, truth over approval, transformation over stability. The mystery schools of ancient Egypt and Greece taught this as their foundational principle. The initiatic path is not for everyone, not because some people are excluded, but because most people are not willing to pay the price it asks. That price is not money or status. It is the willingness to be changed, to let go of what you were in order to become what you are capable of being. The gate is narrow because you cannot bring everything through it. The false self, the borrowed identity, the accumulated armor, the comfortable illusions, none of it fits. You must pass through alone, and you must pass through small. The thing you are most afraid of is not a coincidence. Most people treat fear as a signal to stop, to turn around, to find a different path that does not require them to pass through the thing that makes them uncomfortable. And the world is full of people who have spent decades becoming increasingly skilled at navigating around the one thing they actually needed to face. Carl Jung observed something different. Fear, in his framework, is not simply an obstacle. It is a compass. It points with uncomfortable precision at exactly the place where your growth is waiting. The intensity of the fear is often proportional to the importance of what lies on the other side of it. This does not mean every fear is rational or that recklessness is wisdom. It means that the deeper fears, the ones you carry quietly over years, the ones organized around identity rather than circumstance, these are almost always pointing at something unfinished in you. A part of yourself you have not yet claimed, a capacity you have not yet tested, a version of who you are that can only emerge by walking through what currently feels impossible. Perseus did not become a hero by avoiding Medusa. Bellerophon did not master Pegasus by staying on the ground. Every mythological hero faces the thing that should, by all reasonable assessment, destroy them. And it is precisely in that confrontation that the transformation occurs. The monster face becomes the source of power. The fear walked toward becomes the doorway. The warrior in this image does not stand over the defeated creature by accident. They arrived there by walking directly toward what terrified them. Pegasus was not waiting at a safe distance. It appeared when the hardest thing had been done. Your fear is not your enemy. It is your map.